What's going on, everybody? Mr. AGZ back here again for another Pokemon X and Y tournament battle here. This is a 6v6 tournament. We have the average Joe here in round 2 action. This time against Evan, who's 8,000 Epic Dude, LOL. He's got his own channel. Be sure to check him out, guys. He does pretty good on there. Welcome to our show and our video, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited to review these two battles, and whenever you're ready, we can get into them.
Alright, cool. Ready to review these two, cough cough, possibly three battles. Um, we've got Honchkrow, Sableye, Jolteon, Dragalge, Gardevoir, and Darmanitan for Evan. And you seem to be packing some good pokes. Why don't you remind everybody who you got?
Yeah, same team as last time. I've got Fortress, I've got Talonflame, I've got Gyarados, Klefki, Lilligant, and a Crawdont. And I really like Evan's team. Running with the Honchkrow scares the crap out of me. I really am terrified of Honchkrows.
Oh
So
man, if that's a Moxie Honchkrow, oh wow. They can be
Honch, I,
terrifying.
every Honchkrow I've really ever gone up against, I've been just terrified of. So I was very scared coming into this battle.
I hear you. Alright, well here we go. You ready?
I am ready.
Here we go. Three, two, one, play. Alright, now, as that loads up here and we get started here, I'm looking at your pokes and I'm thinking you're going to lead off with Fortress again. Maybe to get those rocks up, just to get some field hazards.
Matumbo indeed, and I kind of predicted that he would lead off with this Darmanitan here, and surprisingly he goes straight for the U-turn. I was actually expecting like a Flare Blitz, but either way, it doesn't matter too much to me. It does break my Sturdy, but I still get the desired effect with that red card there, so I am able to get up my rocks this turn as usual.
Wow. Now Gardevoir comes in and Gardevoir gets the ability Sturdy, which should be interesting.
Yeah, kind of a really lucky switch in there. Oh wait, no, actually, I can't. I don't know if you use U-turn and red card activates at the same time. I'm not sure if you get to pick your Pokemon or not. I actually have to kind of be on the receiving end of that, but either way, yeah, sturdy on a Gardevoir kind of scares me.
Oh yeah. Now that's something you actually don't get to control who comes in because your red card activates before he gets to go back to the trainer. So because of that, he just ran with what came out.
Okay, so thank you for clearing that up for me. That's something I'll definitely use to my advantage. Now, you can see here that I'm going for a Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance on a Crawdont is pretty scary.
Oh man! Now tell everybody when you do Dragon Dance, what are you expecting to do?
Uh, what Dragon Dance does is it raises your attack and your speed by one stage, so you'll be 1.5 times faster and physically more offensive than you were before. So with that done, I should be able to outspeed most Pokemon, and I should be able to do a lot of damage to them. And if for some reason I can't outspeed a Pokemon, I have a priority move in my arsenal that I can bring out.
All right, here comes that Honchkrow again. Oh wow! And you get this. Man, you're just gonna go ahead and knock off everything here. It looks like.
Well, that was actually Crabhammer that took the Honchkrow out. And what's interesting about this Crawdont, it has the ability Adaptability. And what that does is instead of the same type attack bonus making your moves 1.5 times more powerful, it actually makes them 2 times more powerful. So when you combine the fact that you've already got a boost from Dragon Dance with the fact that you've got a stab that's 2 times more powerful on a move that has 100 base power, you do the math and it adds up pretty quickly. So I
Yeah.
bring in Vulcan here and Brave Bird, and I want to get rid of this Sableye
Sableye.
because I don't really like the fact that it took out my Claudia.
Revenge is sweet.
Yes, Revenge Brave Bird.
Alright, so now comes Jolteon. Now here's a question. How are you going to deal with this Jolteon? You're going to go ahead and try it just to attack it, or are you going to take a hit?
Well, I know that it's going to be able to kill me with a Thunderbolt, but I'm just going to go ahead and say at this point, you know what, let's just stay in here. I'm not too worried. Um, about my other Pokemon. So I'm just going to go for a Brave Bird, hoping that it would kill it. However, since it is resistant, I'm unable to do enough damage, and this Thunderbolt should be enough to take out this Vulcan. Now, I can't remember what type of Jolteon this was, and I actually asked. I think it was either Modest or Timid,
Now, what
but either
surprises
way,
me
it is
is he
definitely
got the
scary
Flame
because it
Orb
is
on.
fast and furious.
Yeah, what surprised me is the Jolteon has a Flame Orb. Does he got guts or something?
I believe it's Quick Feet, maybe. I think Quick Feet, or there's some sort of ability that makes you a little bit faster, I believe.
Gotcha. Oh no, and now with Matumbo coming in, he can't get that wish to affect him, but another poke will get it.
Yeah, and it's actually the Starmanitan. And
Oh,
it doesn't play too much of a role when he switches in. However, at the end of this turn, he is going to get back that stone damage health. So, pretty good for him.
oh yeah. Plus he's gonna get this recoil too.
And it's actually going to take him right back up to full health, if I could recall. Yeah.
Wow, right near it. So that's a good strategy. And now comes Walmart, what everybody fears.
Now, I want to just T-Wave this thing as quickly as I could because I knew I could take it out with, say, Gyarados. Um, but I had to T-Wave it because I know it could outspeed me. I'm thinking that it's most likely choiced, and thank goodness that I got the Parahacks there because had I not gotten the Parahacks, things would have been a little bit dangerous. And I actually get 2 Parahacks in a row there, so I was really, really, really lucky. And I am able to Mega Evolve, and I'm 90% sure that I go for a Dragon Dance. Let's see what I do.
Well, first of all, you got Mold Breaker there, so you're going to be set to go now. And then you get this Dragon Dance off. Now, Mold Breaker allows for you to attack things where normally you wouldn't be able to, depending on the ability. The ability would affect the attack.
Exactly, such as a Pokemon with Levitate. I actually had a battle with Zips, and it was a double battle against Josepe and somebody else, and he had his Gengar out, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to use Earthquake, and everything should be good. And it was actually, I think, my Gyarados that had Mold Breaker activated, and I totally forgot about that, or something happened, and the Earthquake hit his Gengar and killed it, so it was very sad.
Oh man, well there goes the battle. You ended up crunching that Gardevoir, and that was it. So good first battle here with Evan. Geez, what do you think about all that? I mean, Evan, I know he's a good guy and everything. Did you expect for that match to finish so fast, as fast as it did?
Well, I was really kind of pulling on Claudia for the first half of this match, and thankfully Claudia did pull through. Claudia is actually from Terra, and I managed to EV train it, and it is actually one of the Pokemon that we are using in the multi-battles tournament. But as far as the battle itself goes, I just kind of got lucky there because, honestly, I owe it all to Crawdont in the first half of this battle and Talonflame in the second half.
Okay. Now, one of the things that some of you viewers may not know is once you've got your team picked out, this is the second round, so Evan got past the first round. But once you get past the first round, you can't change your team, you can't change your items or anything. So this might have been the team he won with in the first round, but it might be a horrible team for him in the second round. You never know. That's the one good thing about this is it forces you to vary your team.
Yeah, exactly. And from the other battle tournaments that I've participated in, I've found that the battles get harder as you go further. And, obviously that makes sense. But, for the battles that I do well against in the first couple rounds, I do almost like completely terribly in some other rounds. But I won't spoil too much. But yeah, so it's definitely kind of tough to have the same team, and you've really got to know what you have and what you don't, and what your team needs right there, and you got to kind of think on your toes. So
Now another good thing is, with that being the case, now since it's best out of 3, he probably has a good idea what you're going to start with. So the question is, what adjustments is he going to make, or what adjustments would your opponent make, and what adjustments would you make, if any?
well, if I were Evan, I would not actually lead with. Well, I mean, I guess maybe I would lead with Darmanitan. I'm not sure that I would change anything because really, there's not too much that can be done against Fortress. Fortress is going to be able to get up the rocks basically no matter what. I can't really think of any scenarios where that wouldn't happen unless I were to get burnt
Well,
and then get killed, but either way, I'd still be able to get up the rocks, so I probably wouldn't change anything as far as my lead goes. As far as the rest of the battle, though, um,
there is one thing that I would consider. If I was Evan, I probably would have led with Sableye and probably have thrown a taunt your way if he had a taunt. That priority taunt would have kept you from doing your stealth rocks, and then from there he could burn you, and then goodbye sturdy.
well, we don't want to tell everyone else that. We don't. We want to keep that a secret for the rest of these battles, don't we?
Well, it won't matter because they can't change their pokes now. So
Yeah, well, that I didn't even think about that to tell you the truth. I totally forgot that Sableye was there. I was looking right at it this whole time. Wow.
it's a creeper, man. All right, well, you ready for this next battle?
I am indeed ready.
All right, will Evan make a comeback and force a game 3 or not? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. All right, so here we go. Starting off, Evan is issuing a challenge.
All right, so yeah, same lead. Actually, who does? Oh, look at this. Look at this. At this point, now I remember this now. I was actually terrified. But for some reason, he ran knockoff, which is good because it gets rid of the red card, and I think he knew that, but I'm very surprised that he did not go for taunt, and honestly, I totally forgot about Sableye, really. I was able to make quick work of it earlier, but this time is not the case, because it's doing some substitute shenanigans that I don't particularly enjoy. And I'm actually going to go ahead and let you take over for a second. I've got to do something real quick, so hang on a second.
Go ahead. So we've got Shadow here, his Sableye. He's going to go ahead and get this burn damage on this Matumba, which is going to drop his attack in half. Now that's a good strategy with Sableye, because since you have that priority stat stuff, you're going to cut the opponent's attacks in halves. You've already got a high defense, and since you've got priority status moves, you can always just recover up. And it's going to be really tough for your opponent to do damage against you. Now looking at his particular Sableye, it doesn't appear to be a Sableye with the move Taunt, so knockoff is a good alternative that worked also. Now, the average Joe switches here to his Vulcan or his Talonflame, which is ready to go, and he may be strong enough just to take out this Shadow, and he won't be able to burn him either. So a good switch here sends out Toxic Sea, his Dragalge, who's floating with an air balloon. Now, average Joe runs the Swords Dance. Now, Talonflame with Swords Dance, OP, really powerful.
Yeah, definitely. I actually remember one of the battles that we had back when, oh god, it was probably a couple months ago. You totally destroyed me with a Swords Dance, Brave Bird Talonflame. So at that point, I was like, okay, I've got to have one. And finally, it is able to get a little bit of showtime. Now, he brings back in Jolteon, and I'm like, that's a brilliant move because, you know, obviously I'm not going to be able to hurt it too much. I wasn't sure whether or not he'd use Protect or just go for the Thunderbolt there, so I went for Brave Bird just being safe. Although I could have used a Swords Dance, but it really wouldn't have been necessary. Now, thankfully, that I do have the Swords Dance, I was able to take out that Jolteon in the first hit, unlike last time, and so that's pretty good for me.
Here we go. Now, Flame Ace comes out, which is Darmanitan. So we've got Fire versus Fire Flighting. Fire Flying.
Flighting. So yeah, Brave Bird is going to come in here and do enough damage to take it out, actually. And the recoil damage is going to bring me even lower. I'm really kind of running out of health here. So I have the option to Roost, but I'm really not sure what this Honchkrow is going to do. I actually predicted to go for a Sucker Punch, so I do Roost up here. And thankfully, that is indeed what happened. So I kind of got lucky here. I actually go for a second Roost, predicting another Sucker Punch. And I do not want to take a Sucker Punch from this Honchkrow, period. So thankfully, I am able to get to full health, and now I know that if he does go for Sucker Punch, I can still survive it. Now, does Sucker Punch go before priority moves?
Sucker Punch does go before priority moves, so It's one of those moves that'll always attack first if used and the opponent does something. I think only up to, level 2 priority, because I think
Right.
extreme speed outdoes it.
Yeah, I think extreme speed is +3 priority, if I'm correct.
I think so.
So, yeah, so I'm not sure what he actually ran, because it wasn't Sucker Punch. Either way, though, um, I'm going to go for a Brave Bird here on this Gardevoir, and that is going to be enough to take it out, which is also good for me. So kind of like last time, Brave Bird everything, and, just kind of live it up.
Live it up's a good word. Here comes Sableye again, this stubborn Sableye. Now at this point, Sableye is kind of useless against Talonflame, but you still decide to make that switch because Talonflame cannot, or Sableye cannot burn the Talonflame.
Yeah, and I wanted to go into Lilligant to see if I could get her a little bit of showtime, because honestly, Tiny Dancer has not had too much showtime in any of my battles recently. And she's a really good Pokemon, but it really depends on whether or not the Sleep Powder lands. And it is about, I believe, 80% accurate, but it is kind of a sketchy move. Now, after Sleep Powder, I will go ahead and run Quiver Dance, and so long as I don't get any first turn wakes, then, I could do a lot of damage with a Giga Drain because I am also Life Orbed. But I think in retrospect, I think I might decide to run Tiny Dancer with a different item, one that boosts accuracy, such as I believe Wide Lens does that. Not 100% sure, but that would help me out dramatically because I don't want to miss that Sleep Powder.
Yeah, that Sleep Powder is so critical for her.
Yeah, and that was, in case you were wondering, maybe I shouldn't tell you what hidden power that was. Point is that it doesn't do enough damage to it to kill it. So I'm actually going to go for another Giga Drain here and take out Shadow here for the win.
Alright, well down goes Shadow, and that sleep was vital in you being able to take over that Sableye. So many times Sableyes can just run a team out by itself.
Yeah, and I think honestly, looking at my team, there are at least 3 Pokemon that can get shut down by Taunt. Fortress can get shut down by Taunt, Klefki can definitely get shut down by Taunt, and Lilligant as well can get shut down by Taunt. Everyone else, they can make buy, or they can make do, but they definitely would hurt from a Taunt. Obviously, Gyarados and Crawdaunt not being able to Dragon Dance up would definitely be detrimental to my team. Talonflame, not so much, because Brave Bird does enough damage with that Sharp Beak. But yeah, Taunt would be terrible, terrible, terrible for my team.
Would wreck right now. Now, if you look at it, I mean, if he had ran Taunt, oh man, just so many things could have happened. Your Klefki would have been nearly rendered useless.
Yep.
But man, the good thing is you've got variations of teams, and that's why I strongly suggest people vary your team. Some people are really good with mono teams, but for a tournament that's going to last this long, it's always good to vary your pokes.
Yeah, because you don't want to have an entire mono team that can get taken out by just one Pokemon, so you got to be careful.
Oh yeah. Alright, well, this is the end of this second round battle in between Joe and Evan. And with that, Joe advances 2 games to 0 against Evan. Evan's going to move down to the bottom bracket. However, he still has a chance to win it all with just 1 loss. And Joe, of course, is undefeated at this point, so he still has a good chance. I know, looking at who his next round opponent may be, it may be a different story. We'll just have to wait and see until next time. Joe, thank you for coming on and for chatting with us, man.
You are very welcome, and I can't wait to do the next commentary for the next couple of videos.
Alright, man. Well, hey, you have a good one, and I will talk to y'all later.
Alright, you too.
Alright.